Hello, I'm Clayton and I work for ISU Extension and Outreach as the robotics educator. Welcome to Robo Fun. In your box you will find glue, straws, string, a hand template, a white sheet of paper, a motor, a battery and a battery pack for the battery, a red cup with a black piece of tape on it, and from home you'll need something to decorate with, markers and or colored pencils, a pair of scissors, and some scotch tape. For this activity you will need 5 pieces of string, 5 bendable straws, a stick of glue, the outline of a hand, and from home you will need a scissors, and if you have it available, this activity is easier with a hot glue gun. Make sure if you're using a hot glue gun that you have a parent present, or if you just need to use a stick of glue, that's fine as well. Your first step is to cut out the outline of this hand. Now that you've finished cutting out your hand, the next step is to fold on all of the dotted lines on your hand. Now that you've folded your hand, you are now ready to begin cutting your straws. You'll notice on your bendable straws here that the bendy part lines up with the picture. So to start, you're going to pull out your bendy part so your straw is fully extended. Then proceed, we're going to start here on the pinky finger, line up your straw with the finger, with the bendy part going on these lines down here. You'll notice that the straw is a little bit longer, so go ahead and just proceed to cut that end off. Once you've gotten your straw to the length of the finger that you need, you're going to make two cuts on your straw. The first cut will come right here at the palm, where this line's at, and the second cut will come at the second dashed line on each finger. You will not cut at the third length. So you will have a piece on the palm, in the middle section, and on the tip of your finger. So now with your hot glue gun, you're going to run a bead all the way across your palm here, or where you want to glue your straw piece. I have my palm piece right here, ready to go, and it's just going to fit right in there. Make sure you watch out for the hot glue, but if you just keep your fingers right on top, you should be okay. Now taking your glue stick to show how it's done with Elmer's glue, you'd place the straws just the same, but go ahead and you can put your glue right in between the lines and then place your straw piece. Note that Elmer's glue takes a little bit longer to dry, so just be patient with it and give it time, but it works just the same. Now that you have all of your straws in place, it's time to start stringing your strings through each of the straws. So you'll grab a long piece of string, one of your pieces of string here. You'll start from the base of your hand and just start feeding it through each straw. This is where that space really comes in handy here, as once it gets up there, you should be able to kind of grab your string and help kind of guide it on into the next straw. Just get through kind of your second. need to as well. If you have tweezers around the house that you can use to kind of help pull it through, or I've had to use a pencil before just to give it a little extra push if you get stuck. Now that we're through the tip of our finger, set that off to the side there. We're through the tip of our finger. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull it through. This is where you can flip your hand around and you're going to pull your string all the way through until it reaches the base of your hand. Pulling back on the extra, you want to make sure that this is tight up to your hand. Now that you have enough string, go ahead and take your glue. I'm going to use hot glue for this. You can also use Elmer's glue as well. You're going to run a bead all the way along down your finger. Once that is set, go ahead and place your string right on the glue. After that, let the glue dry, and it is set and your first finger is done. Do this to the remaining 4 fingers. Now that you ran the strings through the straws to power your hand, you're now complete, and you can begin starting moving individual fingers or the whole hand in general. We now have a few discussion questions. For the ArtBot activity, you will need a red cup with a black piece of tape, a sheet of white paper, the motor, the battery and the battery pack for the battery. From home, you will need a pair of scissors, something to decorate with, markers and or colored pencils, and Scotch tape. For this first step, you'll be inserting the battery into the battery pack. On the battery, the flat side is your negative, with the other side being your positive. Insert the negative side into the battery pack where there is the spring. It should clip in just like that. After you have completed that, you then attach your battery pack to the side of your cup. You can accomplish this by using Scotch tape. Note that we're not using the black tape right now that can be found on the red side, on the red cup, as we will use that at a later time. Make sure, because this battery is a little bit heavier when getting attached to the side of your cup, you will need more than one piece of tape. Make sure you get your pieces of tape long enough to That's okay. You can put a third piece on there. It's alright. Alright, for this next step, you're going to remove your black piece of tape on the side of the cup. Once you have that removed, you're going to grab your motor. On top, you have the spinny part of your motor. And you're going to wrap your black piece of tape around that so it looks like you have a little bit of a flag. So once you get the first initial fold over, you can kind of crease it and then crimp it down so it sticks to the top of your motor. Now that we've completed that, we're going to tape our motor to the top of our cup. Make sure you do it on the opposite side of your battery so you distribute the weight across your cup evenly. For this as well, again, we're going to be using Scotch tape to tape it down. Now, just like the battery, it might take a couple strips. One of the big keys here is make sure the shaft of your motor is not touching the cup. The shaft of the motor would be the part moving outwards from the motor. Here's the body of your motor, here's the shaft, what we taped our little flag onto. At this point now, we're ready to connect our motor and test to see if it works. So off your battery pack, you're going to grab the black wire that comes from that, and off your motor, grab the black wire that comes from that. But to hold them in there, there's a little groove off the motor wire that you can just slip in your black wire. Now that you have your black wire connected, do the same thing from the red wire on your battery pack to the red wire of the motor. Just slip it right into the groove. Once these two connect, you'll see that our ArtBot is starting to work and is starting to shake exactly like it should. To turn it off, just disconnect your red wire. You can actually leave your black wire on and just disconnect your red one to get it to quit. Now if your ArtBot does not work at this point, go back to the previous steps and figure out what you may have missed or may be doing wrong. At this point now, we're going to be connecting our markers to our ArtBot. So to do that, you're going to grab 4 different markers and you're going to put them on just like 4 legs. You'll accomplish this by using Scotch tape. So what I like to do is I take my marker, take the cap off and see where the cap goes on and off with the groove, and that's where I like to attach it to the base of my cup, or the length that I like to have. I will still run a strip of tape right over the marker right here. That way I can still freely take on and off the cap of my marker. At this point now, you can start to decorate your ArtBot. You can either use pipe cleaners or use markers to decorate them. At this point, your ArtBot is ready to make some art. So take ArtBot, remove the caps off of all the markers. Make sure you just set them to the side so you can easily find them later. Now what I have here is I have a sheet of white paper inside just a little barrier so ArtBot doesn't get too crazy and run away on us. So I'm going to set ArtBot down on top of the white sheet of paper. And your black wires, if they're still connected, you can leave them connected. If not, reconnect your black wires. And then connect your red wires. And let ArtBot do his thing. Need to, you can go ahead and move them a little bit. When ArtBot is finished, you go ahead and just recap the markers on the bottom of ArtBot. Stay tuned for more discussion questions.